Okay, you are welcome to today's video, and we are looking at absorption. Okay, we are looking at absorption of water and mineral salts in a plant, an uptake or rather an absorption of water and mineral salts in a plant. Okay, now water and mineral salts, what happens is that they are absorbed by root hairs. Okay, and root hairs, they are found near the tips of what we call the roots. Okay, so what happens is that root hairs are elongated outgrowth. I have a cell here of a root hair. This is a cell of a root hair, and then we have this an elongated what? Outgrowth. Okay, now this elongated outgrowth uh, it is of an epidermal cells of the roots. Okay, now a root hair cell, it absorbs water. This same root hair that you are seeing, okay, it is found on the roots, and it is the one which is responsible of the absorption of water. Okay, it is the one which is responsible of this absorption of water by the process called osmosis. So we see that water, it is absorbed from the soil by the root hairs through the process called osmosis. Okay. On the other hand, the root hairs, they absorb mineral salts by the process called uh, active transport. Okay. So there are two processes that I've mentioned here. We have the process called osmosis, where the plant, or rather the root hair, sorry, it absorbs water uh, from the soil by the process called osmosis. And then we also have this process called active transport, where the plant, or the root hairs of the plant, will absorb the mineral salts from the soil. Okay, so take note of those 2 points I've mentioned. Okay, now when we continue looking at this these two processes I've mentioned, which is osmosis and active transport. Okay, we see that uh, the root hairs adapts the process of absorption uh, to do all those two processes due to some of the reasons that I'll state here. Three major ones. Okay, what I'm saying is that a root hair cell absorbs water by osmosis and also mineral salts by the process called active transport, and is adapted for absorption in the following ways. Now, the ways through which osmosis and active transport is done is through the following three ways. Number one, it has an elongated. Now, we are talking about specifically the root hair. The reason why it is able, okay, to do this process of absorption, it's because of its structure. Number one, we are saying that it has got this elongated what? It has got this elongated outgrowth, which increases the surface area for faster diffusion during absorption. Due to this elongation on the root hair, okay, this elongated outgrowth, it enables uh, the root hair itself to be able to have faster, okay, diffusion during absorption. Point number two is that it has got what we call an absence of chloroplast to create more room for absorption. The absence of chloroplast in the root hair, it enables it to perform the process of absorption more fluently. Okay. The third point is that it is able to perform the process of absorption. Why? it has high concentration of mitochondria, okay, to provide energy for active absorption or transport of mineral salts. Now, the other point we're saying that due to high concentration of the mitochondria, there is high concentration of mitochondria in this cell, in this root hair cell. There is high concentration of mitochondria and it enables to provide more energy for active absorption or transport of mineral salts. Okay, now in addition to that, we are saying that the root hair cells are numerous, which further increases their surface area. Okay, so this is the structure now. This is the structure of a root hair cell. Structure of a root hair. It has got parts. Okay, this part from here up to this part, it is called an elongated outgrowth. An elongated outgrowth. This inner part inside here, this whole part, it is called the vacuole wall, the outer part there. Then, where we find the nucleus, every time you see such in an exam, you should be able to recall the parts that it has and also knowing the function of each of these parts. Okay, in my next video, I'm sure I'm going to talk about the functions of these parts here. Okay. So without forgetting that we are looking at absorption in a plant, of course, by the help of the root hair. Okay. So what we are going to look at specifically after having looked at the structure of the root hair, okay, of a root hair cell. Now we have to know the movement of water from the root hairs to the xylem. Okay, how does water move from the root hair or root hairs to the xylem? Okay, we know that the xylem, it's a vessel which is responsible for the movement of water and mineral salts from the roots up the plant. Okay, but how is that done? Okay, without wasting much time, after being absorbed, remember water and mineral salts, they have been absorbed. Now we are saying after that process of absorption has occurred, water moves from the root hairs cell to the xylem using the three possible routes, namely apoplast. Now, when the root hair absorbs the water and the mineral salts, there are three possible ways through which water and mineral salts can move to the xylem cell. Remember, the xylem, it's a vessel which will help the mineral salts and also water to travel from down the roots up all the parts of the plant. Okay. Now, there are three possible ways through which water and the mineral salts can travel or rather move from the root hairs to the xylem in a plant. It's number one by apoplast. Okay, apoplast is the process where water and mineral salts move from cell wall to cell wall. Okay, from cell wall to cell wall. That is what we call apoplast. We have number two, symplast. Okay, this is the process where the movement of water and mineral salts from cytoplasm to cytoplasm. The last one is what we call vacuolar route. This is from vacuole to vacuole. I said number one, apoplast, from cell wall to cell wall. Number two, symplast, from cytoplasm to cytoplasm. Three, vacuolar route, from vacuole to vacuole. Now, the movement of water from cell to cell is due to osmosis and transpiration pool. The process by which water moves from one cell to another cell, it is called osmosis and transpiration pool. So the combination of these two processes called osmosis and transpiration pool enables the water to move in a plant, of course, from one cell to the other cell. Now, how is this process done? Movement of water up the plant. How does it move? Okay, we have now looked at how water moves from the root hairs, how water, of course, and the mineral salts moves from the root hairs into the xylem by looking at three roots that I've mentioned: apoplast, symplast, and also vesicular root. Okay, now we are looking at the movement of water up the plant. Now the water and the mineral salts are already in the xylem, in the roots, are already in the xylem vessel, but still in the roots. What process occur for the mineral salts and also the water to move now from where they are in the xylem, in the roots, to move up the plant? Okay, very, very important. So how is that, how does that happen? We are going to say water moves up the plant through the xylem vessel in what we call a continuous stream. Okay, water moves from the xylem vessel in the roots in what we call a continuous stream, and that continuous stream is known as transpiration stream. Okay, now the forces responsible for movement of water in the transpiration stream are mentioned below, and these are four. Okay, I'm saying that water moves. Remember, water has been absorbed by the root hairs in the what? In the from the soil. Okay, now that absorption which has occurred, it is due to osmosis. Okay, it is due to osmosis. Now that water has entered into the root hair, okay, there is that process again which must occur for them to move from now the root hair here to move now into the xylem through the three roads that I've mentioned. Now that the water and also the trans and oh, sorry and also the mineral salts, they are already in the xylem. Now, how should they move from the xylem in the roots, of course, up the plant? Okay, there are three forces which are involved. Remember, I mentioned to say water moves up the plant through the xylem vessel in a continuous stream, and that continuous stream is known as a transpiration stream. Now, for that transpiration stream to occur, there are certain forces, or rather factors, as I may put it, which are involved. Okay? And one of the factors is called transpiration. The other factor is called capillarity. The other factor is known as root pressure. And lastly, we have what we call guttation. These are the four forces, or rather factors, which are involved during what we call transpiration pool. Okay? Now, or rather transpiration stream. Now, this transpiration stream occurs by number one, transpiration itself. What is transpiration? We are saying that transpiration is the diffusion of water vapor from plant leaves to the atmosphere through the stomatas. So transpiration is just the process where the water vapor leaves the plant through the stomatas or through the leaves, or rather through the stomatas of the leaves. Transpiration is when the water vapor leaves the plant through the stomatas of the plant, of the leaves, sorry. Okay, so therefore, due to this process of transpiration, it creates suction force that pulls water up the xylem vessel. As the water leaves the plant through the stomatas, it creates suction forces, and that suction force, it pulls the water up the xylem vessel into other parts of the plant where the water is needed. Number two, we have what we call capillarity. Capillarity, we're just saying this is the movement of water into narrow tubes or openings as a result of cohesion. and adhesion. Now, under capillarity, there are two terminologies which are there. We have what we call cohesion and also adhesion. What is cohesion? Firstly, I'll say capillarity. This is the movement of water into narrow tubes or openings as a result of cohesion, and adhesion. That's all. So, water movement through narrow tubes as a result of cohesion and adhesion. Now, cohesion, these are attractive forces between molecules of the same kind. Water, the forces of the same kind, water molecule. Now, that force which occur between those molecules is what we call cohesion. Attractive forces between molecules of the same what? Of the same kind. But adhesion is the attractive force between molecules of different substances. Remember that in this xylem vessel, we have got what we call mineral salts and also water. So for mineral salts and water to be transported at the same time in the xylem vessel, there is what we call adhesion. Okay, adhesion is when a water molecule and also a mineral salt molecule, they are able to attract each other as they are putting themselves up the xylem vessel to all parts of the plant where they are needed. Okay, number 3, we have what we call root pressure. Root pressure, we are just talking about the pressure created in xylem vessels due to osmotic gain of water by the roots. As the root hairs keeps on gaining, or rather getting some water from the soil by the process of osmosis, it enables that water and also the mineral salts which is already in the xylem to be pushed up the plant. That's why we are saying root pressure. This is the pressure that is created in the xylem vessels due to osmotic gain of water by the roots. Okay, by so doing, it pushes water up the vessels, like I earlier said. Okay, in conclusion, okay, we have to talk about guttation as the last factor of transpiration stream to occur, or rather transpiration pool. Water and minerals to move from down the roots up the plant. Okay, we have what we call guttation. Guttation, it's more like transpiration, okay? But you're saying guttation, it is the loss of water drops from the tips of the margins, of the leaves through openings called hydrathodes. Now, under transpiration, we looked at the stomatas. When water vapor is lost from the plants through the stomatas, it is transpiration. But guttation are droplets of water through the tips of what, or rather margins of the leaves openings, which are called hydrathodes. Okay, that is what we call guttation. So when water droplets is lost through the openings or in the leaves called hydrathodes, it creates suction force also that pulls up the xylem vessels. Okay, it pulls that suction force which is created. It enables that pull of water and also the mineral salts within within the xylem from the point where osmotic pressure is occurring up the plant to the parts where the water and also the mineral salts are needed. Okay, therefore this will mark the end of my video. You can subscribe to my video, as next time we'll be looking at the functions of these parts of the cell wall. Thank you, and yeah, see you in my next video.